watchers, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to feature Guild WoR for Season 3, Week 1, and I am basically early game, have not conquered the Gear Raid 18s, and I am in a mid-game guild, so make things a little bit difficult. Our first matchup was extremely overpowered for me, and we did lose pretty mightily. Some people in my guild were on par, and many of us were not. But I was definitely not, and so just kind of looking at things. Our guild is ranked in the top 1,000 in Guild WoR, so that makes things a little difficult if you're early game having joined a guild that high of rank. I know there's plenty of people ranked higher, but when you're early game, you probably want to be in a guild where you are at. So here's my first opponent, and this was a Russian guild. And they're all 3,000 and 4,000 BP, and we tend to be, in my guild, averaging around 2,000 BP. And some of them are in 6s, so this was a really tough guild. Like, the BP of teams averaged between 300 to 400,000, and it was tough. So I was overpowered on offense. I'll show some examples. Team 2, or opponent 2, was not nearly as bad, but I was trying to rush here, or at least get those skellies up there to try and block and then sneak some people through. That didn't work because they just got wiped out. When you're overpowered by BP this much, it's pretty tough. So then another battle here, tried to use some AoE, and he just got wiped out. Like, they destroy me before I can even get up there. And then, of course, I didn't time it right, as Maul had his ultimate up again. Go into another example and try to use this big basher guy, and he gets wiped out. Try to take out the wings and barely put any damage on the upper wing. So not very successful. Go for one more here. Going to try to rush past these, put up the blockers, try and get the bombs through, and everybody's just destroyed as soon as they get in that DPS zone. So overpowered on BP, there's really not a lot I can do. But I used all 8 of my battles. Why? Because it gives me points. It gives me contribution. It gives me guild points. So do what you can. We got pretty much destroyed. They didn't destroy me completely. I mean, they did when they fought me, but they didn't fight me completely. It's like they were just not even really into this guild war, even though they handled us mightily. I do get destroyed on defense, but let's take a look. So I'm running AI, and I pointed her this direction because I get more of those floor bombs up. And I probably should point her the other direction. I think next week I will try her the other direction. But she does do decent damage against them. So for being overpowered completely, I feel like she did okay. And maybe if we're a little closer, they won't have that shot. But here's my other team. This team's pretty much trash. Orym is not a good tank. And they pretty much walk through us, and the mage takes everybody out as he walks by. So, not a good matchup for me, at least, in opponent number 1 for the week. But here's the second opponent, a lot closer. This was a German guild, and we were able to pull out the win on this one. So, with an early game account, I got promoted to Elite, mainly because the guild leader knows I'm going to be consistent. At least that's what I assume. So I'm going to get destroyed in that elite spot right now, but hopefully I'll get built up pretty quickly and can at least put up some kind of defense. But I'm working on it. So a little more evenly matched, but we did squeak this one out. I don't think this was the end result, but we did win it. So as you can see, my A squad is kind of okay. It's just low BP. My B squad gets ran over pretty well. I'm just trying to get the BP up on it, but it's mostly a bluff, and you can tell it's a bluff. And the BP is still so low that I get handled really well. So defense, let's take a look at that, see how well I fare. So, pop into it. This is my A squad, and I've got Arrogance here. I thought about putting Arrogance like people position Zillatu in here and putting him behind where I have AI. But I don't know, I put him here. Getting a little bit of damage on these guys, so I feel alright about that, as they wipe me out pretty well. But yeah, then the mage is going to take us out again, and we're done. But I think the setup is fairly solid. AI is really good in Guild War defense, especially in these central keeps. So on to the next one. Early game, I think it's just hard to win on defense anyway, but that doesn't mean you can't. I mean, obviously there's going to be people out there who know what they're doing and can get the win. So this is my trash team, and they're just going to send that basher through, and he's just going to beat us down and walk right through. There's the mage, so the mage actually is the one that beats us down. But yeah, they just walk right through us because we don't offer much of a defense against them. So I don't feel too bad. I feel like my first team does all right for the BP. I mean, we're going to get obliterated because our BP is low. But the first team does okay. So here's the first team again. AI dropping those bombs quickly. They're going to send the bashers through. Oleg's okay, and Oleg is okay in this position. Much better than Orym. I need another tank for sure, and I don't really want to bring up Livian. I'd rather pull a good one and not use a stopgap like Livian, even though she is my second best tank right now. So they're sending the runners through, and really nothing I'm going to do. So get taken out, and the BP is an issue, but you deal with it. On to offense. So I try to pick my teams, my opponents to be about 1.25 times to 1.5 times my BP. We do have a couple people lower than me in the guild, so I want to let them take the really low people. So this demon is great. I just pulled him actually after opponent 1, the morning after, and he's good. He has really high HP. He's good against everything, and he has great damage. Trying to squeak these bombs through, and bombing behind the tank fails, so I send in the air. But this guy, this is the Uncommon Destroyer, and he is really good. Like, he is a game changer on my account. The air is able to make it through this team, and I get the win. And this team, I think, was about, I don't know, somewhere closer to 300 BP, probably 280 or so. Most of them I did fight were between 250 and 280 BP. But I don't want to go 300 when I'm 200. It's just, that's kind of a tipping point to where their BP is just too strong for me, and they blow up my team before I even really get a chance to do anything. They can just blow up my team on their basic attacks. So on to another attempt here. They got a Mari in there, and I kind of underestimate the Mari because I think of that as more, I mean, everything in this game is PvE, and I think of her as more a PvP, or a PvE champ, not a PvP, and I think of this as PvP. So I had bad timing on sending the mobs, and the bombs, and I ran them right into Mari's ultimate. So we got obliterated, didn't really do anything, and I don't have much left. I pretty much thought I was going to lose this one, but I'll reload, get myself back up to 10 cost. I'll drop the Uncommon Destroyer again, and I want to get the timing right. I have one shot left. I have runners and mosquitoes. If I can get the air through there, send the runners, and I broke through. So the runners actually did it. I didn't have to worry about the mosquitoes. So that one worked out pretty well. That was pretty close to a loss, and actually that was the lowest BP defense that I faced, and I almost messed it up because I underestimated Mari. So we'll get on to another battle. Some of them I was able to face twice, and so I don't show the second battle. Some of them I was not. I tried to wake up early in the morning so that I could get my pick and not be facing tougher teams, or at least face the level of toughness that I wanted to face. I didn't face the easiest, but I didn't get stuck with the hardest. So I decided to rush this and ignore the Abomination. I'm not really sure why Abomination is sitting there. Who is he going to stop? So send my Uncommon Destroyer. And he's beaten on Regulus pretty well. He actually almost takes out Regulus. I'm going to send my bombs, and I'm going to send my spiders. The bombs get through, and they don't kill Arrogance. I was really hoping they'd kill Arrogance. But then that Uncommon Destroyer breaks through and takes people out, and I'm able to send the next wave and get through. So that one, obviously not a great defense with Abomination kind of wasted in the middle there, but that did pretty well. So let's see what we have in store next. On the first opponent, I lost all 8. I had nothing I could win on. Second opponent, I was actually able to pull out all 8. Yeah, 8. So we're going against this other opponent. So they've got a Vortex, and they don't have a great range marksman damager down there. She's single target, so I'll send in my Uncommon Destroyer. See how Wrath does. I want to bust through Wrath. And this Destroyer is great against these piercing damage people, but he just breaks through it on his own. He doesn't even wait for the rushers to come. Prior to this week, I had built up 4 different teams for 4 different types of styles, and what I realized is, in early game, you're better off just kind of having a versatile team and just rushing through. And that's what I did on Team 2. Team 1, everything was irrelevant anyway, against opponent number 1. But against opponent number 2, just this versatile team, and I'll kind of showcase it a little bit in practice. So I'm going to use bombs to take out the healer here. Send my Uncommon Destroyer up to the front. And he's taking a little bit of damage, but not too bad. Actually, he's taking more than I expected. Send the bombs through, and they take out the healer. And they take out, I believe that was a Wrath. So I sent the spiders hoping that they could just kind of finish off the tank in the front, but that secondary rush failed because the shield went up. So then I went ahead and sent the air attack, and they've got a little bit of defense against air, but they break through. And that was it. So my versatile team having the air attack in there, even though I'm not a great air attack because all I have are the rare mosquitoes. I don't have the epic air, and I definitely don't have the legendary air, which is the legendary air attack. So here's the practice team, and I like to go into stage 6 of the practice, of the training, just to kind of run through timing. Obviously, you beat them down pretty easily. You can, once you get a little bit of BP on you. So practicing this team, I'm running the Uncommon Destroyer in the front spot when they don't have a mage, or they don't have a really good mage. And then I run the other guy, I forget his name right now, the other basher, in that spot if they're mage heavy. So we'll get in here and just take a look at what I'm trying to do, and I practice the timing on the bombs in here. Thank you to Slate on the bomb video she made. So I get started. I'm going to drop that Uncommon Destroyer. And he walks slow, so he's 7 cost. I like to bring it up to 10. He's 7 cost, but he walks so slow, I can throw it on 2x, regen everything up, and by the time he gets to the front, I'm pretty close to 10, if not 10 already. As it ticks up, I'm 8. He's still not there. He's in range. He's going to start taking hits. But he hits the front, and I'm 10 out of 10. So he gets up there, and then I'm really ready to start sending. The timing is about perfect with this guy. And he does damage, so which kind of makes it hard for the training because he might knock out that Livian. So now I'm going to do my double bomb spider to try and push the bombs through the Livian and hit the back. So again, using how Slate said to do this, I time my bombs a little bit far forward, so then I release my spiders from the rear spot. And by the time they get up into range to take hits, the spiders are in the front, bombs go through, and they took out the back. So that's kind of how I did that. And the training is really great for working on your timing. But that's my versatile team, and I do have the mosquitoes in that team, but did not use them in the training, obviously. So I'm one of the bottom 5 commanders in the guild, but my utilization in the guild war is pretty good, and so I'm able to be one of the more active people and get more points. So, not too bad. Expended all my offense battles, and I won 8 of them, all 8 of them in the second one. So hopefully I can keep steadily raising my BP and do a little bit more challenging teams and get more demons and make some better content. So I hope you enjoyed the video, hope it helps, and take care.